This is GARIS, Masculist, MGTOW flyers. That is 2-3 page essays on the themes of masculism and MGTOW, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. This is flyer number 78, and again you're probably noticing my eye angle relative to the camera is lower than usual, because I'm having more and more trouble trying to connect to the VPN, Virtual Private Network, to get around China's Great Firewall. This problem is really pissing me off. It may get so bad I'll just shit on this country and leave, despite its advantages of being poor, so my purchasing power's increased. Anyway, flyer number 78, entitled Twaytweffing after gender law fairing. Description. This flyer wonders what will happen to the Twaytweffing lifestyle after the gender laws have been made men fair. Will it die out? I doubt it. So the population will continue to fall, forcing the gender politicians to adopt other measures to increase the birth rate. The flyer itself. And I'm reading from a much smaller screen, just my old laptop, which uses Windows 7, and my big screen computer uses Windows 10. I have real difficulty getting access with Windows 10, but I seem to have no problem with Windows 7, so what the hell is going on? Okay, flyer. Twaytweffing after gender law fairing. I'm a sage, that is, an intellectual. I love playing with ideas, my main passion in life. I was sitting in my camp chair in the local park as usual, studying relativity, with the sun starting to set, and thought, what will I write my flyer about today? When that happens, I clear my mind and see what bubbles up from my unconscious. I then start thinking about Twaytweffing and wondered what would happen to this lifestyle after the gender laws have been made fair to men by the gender politicians. That is, the divorce laws are made men fair, the PARA, this paternity rejection rate, has been brought in. Legal discriminations against men, a long list of them, have been legislated away, etc. My immediate question was, would Twaytweffing die out once the gender laws are men faired, as they have to be if whole populations are not to be wiped out? I then started having doubts about Twaytweffing disappearing. I think up to now I had seen this lifestyle as a temporary measure during the decade or more that will come before the gender politicians men fair the gender laws, but I'm beginning to think that almost unconscious assumption is probably too conservative, too unrealistic. For those new to the Twaytweffing idea, it's a lifestyle for men that gives them the regular sex that they need, but is cost-free in terms of the risk of a financially massacring divorce in a fluffy feminist-dominated divorce court. Twaytweff is 2A, 2F, that is 2 apartments, 2 FIPs, in which a FIP, that's financially independent person, male, and a FIP female have a relationship, each with their own apartment. When the relationship fails, as most do, they both return to their own apartment, cost-free to the man. No divorce because no marriage, no child payments because no kids, no alimony because the ex-girlfriend's a FIP. Twaytweffing keeps women being nice to men, because if a Twaytweffing woman starts nagging him, withholding sex, trying to mold him the way she wants, he can so easily just walk away, and she knows this, so she must always be nice to him if she wants to keep him, and vice versa. A Twaytweffing man who dumps a woman can go to the internet and find another woman to penis and for a bit of companionship within a week. This Twaytweffing has such major advantages for men living in an era in which the fluffy feminists still dominate the divorce courts, that one wonders what will happen when the gender laws are made men fair. Will Twaytweffing die out after that? I doubt it. Research shows that the happiest couples are childless and the unhappiest have teenage kids. So why have kids at all, if they're only going to lower your general happiness? Why indeed. So more and more people are choosing not to have kids, that is, both males and females. It's part of women's nature to nag men, to use sex as a bargaining tool with men, because women evolved that way. Female sex for male protein. So even when the gender laws are made men fair, women's genetically determined nature will not change. They will still be the same after the men fair gender laws as they are now, so many of the advantages of Twaytweffing will remain valid for men. What impact will that have on the population size when millions of men continue to Twaytweff? Trying to answer this question is what this flyer is mostly about. A lot of men, of course, will want to have kids, and with the massive injustices against men of today's divorce court removed, they will pair off with fit women, not fluffies, to have kids. Still with a 50-50 risk that the partnership will end, but at least they will not lose their kids, as custody of kids will be made joint by default. They won't be paying child support to a fluffy ex-wife because they'll be separating from a fit woman, and there will be no alimony because his ex-partner is a FIP. But a sizable proportion of men will continue their Twaytweffing, choosing not to have kids at all, and easily dumping a woman who starts even the slightest bit of nagging that Twaytweffing males do not tolerate in a woman. If she starts nagging, withholds sex, etc., she is out the door, or rather he is, back to his own apartment. So the birth rate will continue to be well below replacement rate of 2.1 children per adult female. So the population will continue to fall, but at a slower rate. So the US population, for example, will take more than a century to be wiped out. So the gender politicians will be forced to take measures to encourage women to have more kids. Sperm donors will be given new laws that protect them against paternity suits from fluffy donee mothers. This will allow women to have kids, as they are genetically programmed to do. Gender politicians and society in general will put enormous moral pressure on all women to be FIPs so that they can afford to raise a kid or two on their own, although they may be Twaytweffing with a man. But if she starts badgering him to extract money from him for her kids, she gets dumped by him. And she knows this, so she doesn't dare nag him. Probably for this reason, most Twaytweffing men will avoid single mothers. They do not want to face the risk that single mothers will almost inevitably manifest their genetically programmed attitude that men exist on this earth to pay for women to have babies. The gender politicians will have to beef up childcare day centres and perhaps subsidise the salaries of nannies so that fit mothers have an easier time of juggling career, that is of being fit females, with motherhood in terms of time and energy. So in brief, I see Twaytweffing continuing even after the gender laws are men faired, because this lifestyle has so many advantages for men. If the gender politicians increase taxes, especially on single men, then these single men can easily uproot themselves and move to another country with a lower standard of living where costs are less. So the nest eggs of these MGTOWs go further due to the cheaper cost of living. But with more fit women, they will be able to pay more taxes. So fit women will be paying more for fit mothers, a kind of poetic justice. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de GARIS. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. YouTube channel name de GARIS, Masculist, MGTOW, Flyers. Ciao.